Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to LongWalker's live Wake Up and Walk On. We were supposed to get the second part done of this one on Saturday, but we had stuff come up and been really busy. So I'm back here. We're doing this. We got a whole nother setup lined up after this of what is it that the estranged parents? Yes. That Nepper here has been working on tirelessly trying to get it prepared. So
crazy shit, dude. People are
it is. Alright, so we gotta get into these videos already. I've got the video set up, so let's get into it so we can see where we're at.
Or the worst, okay? I wish I got it earlier, okay? I wish I just had the click earlier that this isn't a life path that I have to take as a woman. If you are child free, sometimes all you have to know is that you would be a good mother. Sometimes you just have to tell yourself, if I had kids, I would be the best mom. And you would have confidence in that. And then choose to not have children. I am trying to save you. Dream bigger. Dream bigger. Do not try to make the family that you've always wanted. Don't even do it.
I didn't think she'd get me so emo there. Let's take a second and really let that set in, because I know so many of you who are watching in the car, maybe you're on the toilet, maybe you're on a walk. You probably wish things were different in your family and within your family's dynamic. And that's made you consider having children of your own. A lot of people do it. They were mistreated as a child. They didn't have the family that they deserved. And so they create that family. They create that dynamic that they so desperately wish they had when they were kids. I think having children for the sake of righting wrongs that happened to you as a kid is all well and good in theory. Those kids aren't responsible for your healing. I think it's normal to some degree for people who are wanting to become parents to kind of be the parent they wish their parent had have been, to be the one to have protected yourself, to be the one to have made more educated choices and decisions, to be the one you felt like you never had. Now, this may be controversial of me to say, but it's not up to a child to do all of that healing for
Hey Sancho, good to see you. Don't mind, the mouse is on Rampage today.
you. I just feel like that's so much responsibility to put onto a child who doesn't deserve that kind of trauma in their lives, you know? And that's not to say don't have children if you have trauma with your family or your parents or whatnot. But don't have that be your only purpose in having children, because like I said before, children are such an undertaking, and to solely have them to heal the child within yourself is just a little bit crazy, in my opinion. I personally think it's much easier to live with not having children and being like, you know, I wonder what life would have been like if I had kids, instead of playing with a whole human being's life just because you want to change the past. Another aspect that I think we need to address is losing yourself in becoming a parent, and how the role of being a parent shapes your identity to not only yourself but everybody around you. For example, I have so many hobbies that I love doing. I love crafts, I love sewing, I love playing video games, I love baking. I love painting. There are so many things I fucking love doing in this world. Shit, man. I mean, my entire identity relies on me being creative. I love using my brain. I love using my hands, and I just love creating. If I couldn't do any of that anymore, I would lose such a huge part of myself. And having children would directly impact my ability to be able to have the time to invest in these sorts of things. There isn't staying up late anymore, it's staying up late to attend to a baby. There's no wasting 3 hours midday on a Saturday playing video games. No, those 3 hours are crucial in my child's life. Or rather, unborn child, because let's not bring that into existence, thank you very much. But Caitlin, don't you know that you could just include kids with your hobbies? Congratulations for figuring out that you can do things with other people, I guess. It's not quite that simple, because who said I wanted other people involved in my hobbies? I also don't really have the patience to sit there and stop a whole toddler from eating beads every 3 seconds because they look so tasty, apparently.
I was not prepared in motherhood to constantly have to find the patience. Like, I have to find the patience all hours of the day to do everything and anything, because no one told me how fucking taxing it is to hear someone say you're fucking, my God, stay up. No one tells you how fucking taxing it is to hear someone whine or cry or say, mama, 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 all the time, 24/7. Like, there's no way to mentally prepare for your brain to handle that. And on top of it, all you're trying to do is things for them. Like, you're trying to make food, or you're trying to get dishes done so that you can have dishes to make more food.
You know, they're acting like that it's such a bad thing to have the little ones and be like, well, I'm just trying to do this for them. I'm just trying. I mean, they're such a joy. Yes, they could be a pain in the butt sometimes, but they're always there. They're always that joy.
I can only imagine that they've never had like animals. If they've had animals, they've had easy animals.
Yeah.
Because
dogs.
it's so different to me. So
I know.
I don't know.
I've got.
What?
Oh, and ladies and gentlemen,
Say goodbye to him.
Guru is on his Manitou journey, so he's been outside like pretty much all day, and he sleeps outside until his birthday on Monday. Then he'll be back to his normal schedule. But don't forget to wish him a happy 16th birthday on Monday. Yep, he'll be live streaming, so stop in if you know his channel, Wolf Boy Productions. He won't be live till then, but just know that. And then you got the littlest one of most, who's just always going.
Or you're cleaning laundry, or you're cleaning up a mess or something. You're constantly doing something to care for the house or for the child or for the children or kids or animals or whatever. And then they don't see that. They only see the fact that you're not paying attention to them. So then they want more of your attention. And you're like, I'm already giving you all of my fucking attention. I know you don't realize it, but I am. And you're running on fumes, and you just need 5 minutes where you don't have someone saying something, making noise. Like, the auditory overload is insane. And then it's like, what sucks even more right now is like, I don't have my car. And so I feel so fucking trapped. And my husband, like, he works so hard for our family, and so he's finally gonna do something he hasn't done since we've been together, which is go hunting. We've been together for 5 years, and this man has talked about it all 5 years. Like, he's finally gonna go. And all I can think about is how I'm gonna be solo parenting for a couple days, and it's not even that much, but it's just like, I want a break.
Okay, we're gonna stop that right here because not once in this TikTok, granted, I have paused it maybe a little too early, I have not once heard her talk about what she is going to be doing. Like, yes, her husband is also very much as deserving as she is of taking a break and doing something for himself. But I feel like the main parent, which is usually the mum in most cases, doesn't ever really get that same sort of ability to have that break away from kids for a couple of days. I'm not saying it can't happen. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. But where are her hobbies? That's something else I didn't hear in the video. I didn't hear anything that she does for herself. Again, this is just, you know, a 60-second TikTok, give or take. But where exactly is her time to be able to fill up her cups so that she's able to fill up everybody else's around them? This may be controversial, maybe a little controversial. I don't fucking know. I personally think being a mother is one of the hardest fucking jobs in the world. I would rather do anything but that. I already have enough to deal with my own self. I cannot do another person. Do you know what I mean? I'm not 100% saying that she's more deserving of
No, that is gonna hurt the laptop. Enough.
Come here, no, come here.
Yeah, see, I mean, we deal with it all the time here, but that's just
But
being
it doesn't last forever.
no, and that's just being selfish. You know, the fact that I can't do it. I can't do a kid. I can't do this. Sorry, I mean that's life. You have to learn how to adapt and
Well,
how.
some people aren't called for that, and that's fine. But it's just like.
But you gotta learn some. Really? See? Say hi, everybody. Say hi.
I'll touch.
Go. Hi, everybody. Yeah.
But I mean, it's fine
Okay.
if some people aren't called to. That's just fine. But it's like, but to make videos and talk about how fucking horrible
Yeah.
it is, it doesn't fucking help
And
anybody.
this new wave of trying to get people not to do it, like
Don't touch. Don't touch.
Don't.
Come here. Come over here.
Mom is calling you now. Hey.
And honestly, this age between now and like 3 is the worst.
Yeah, and then it is what it is.
Like, it doesn't last forever.
It doesn't.
But and that one girl having a total breakdown about how she's freaking out because she's gonna be stuck solo parenting for a couple of days, and there's always something to clean and always something to cook and somebody always needing you, and it's like it doesn't last forever.
No.
And to post this shit doesn't help anybody because, like, yeah, you want to be honest, but all they're doing is showing one side of it.
Exactly.
It's like, unless she has other TikToks talk about how, other days it's good and easy and everything.
Yeah.
Sure she doesn't. It's all
No, it's all bad. And there's no the real true joy, the love
No.
that another kid is.
No.
That's what it's about.
And like I said, I have, like, I mean, even just calling them kids bothers me because it seems to, like, invalidate them as a young baby, a person, or whatever. It's like, I might call like a 10-year-old a kid because they act more like kids at that age. But to me, it's like when I say have a kid, I'm having a kid. That just sounds weird to me. It's like, no, like it's a baby, it's a child, it's
Yes.
a infant,
And it doesn't know any different. That's where you show it and then you be that. All right, move on.
a little 3-day break, then her husband. But I am kind of saying that. This is the part of motherhood that scares me to no end, because what the fuck do you mean you have no time to do anything for yourself? You can't even take a fucking shit in peace? I think something a lot of us child-free people take for granted is having days where we can just focus on ourselves and do whatever we need to do to fill our own cups. I'm not speaking for everybody, but I know that sometimes I sure fucking take my time for granted, because there'll be nights where I'm just like, oh, gaga. The last thing I want to be doing is getting in the shower and washing my face. Meanwhile, here is this mum who is probably not able to have a shower by herself, let alone have it be longer than 2 fucking minutes. And here, my ungrateful ass is dragging my feet at the thought of it.
All right, we're good. We're on.
So the other day I saw this post by, it was a male, but he's the kind of male that makes women's content. It's like he's a grifter.
Yeah.
And he was like, men working a job and saying that it's sacrificing everything for the family is so stupid because they have to work anyway.
Yes.
Are you hearing what I'm saying?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. But would they?
They wouldn't, no. Almost.
That's what I'm saying. It's like you're agreeing. And
No, I wasn't agreeing. I was saying yes, like I'm listening.
Like, what'd I say?
Almost.
What'd I say?
Don't do it.
No touching. Don't come in my face. But the thing is when a man, like, if he was single, he could choose to live a lower quality of life. He could use his money however he wants to. He could work as many hours as he wants to. He doesn't have that pressure to work as much as he does if he has a family.
Doesn't.
So it's like, yeah, I think that it's a pretty big sacrifice when you're working for a family as compared to working for yourself.
Yeah.
And this is like one of the latest things that I'm seeing going around with these people, like trying to validate that women do so much more with the mental load and this and that. And it's like,
not necessarily. I mean,
it's equitable. Like heard situations and seen situations where it's like, well, yeah, but he needs to step up, but you need to say something too.
yes.
You can't just sit there and complain about it and do these little videos and TikToks and complain and not say anything. It's like that Paige O'Connell bitch that's always talking about that mental load and all this shit. It's like, okay, so by that logic, would you not have to cook for yourself? Would you not have to clean for yourself?
You would.
I mean, it's the same fucking thing.
I know.
So it's like, yeah, so with a child, you cook a little bit more, you clean a little bit more. And with a man, when he has to work a little bit more. I mean, those are both sacrifices as well.
Exactly, and it's not any more or any less on anybody's part. It's a matter of working around each other.
Yeah, it is.
Like with the child, the mother most generally has a child during the day, and that doesn't mean that it's that the father's not doing something. He might be working, but he still has to come home and take care of the kid and help with stuff. At night.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, to pick up some of that slack, because that's still going to tire the mother out completely. When most males just think that, well, that's their job, they can do it every single second of every single most.
And women think that, and the way that they can contribute is by not overspending.
Yeah.
And using the money for all kinds of fucking shit.
I know.
It's like they think, well, he's working, he's making the money, so I'm just gonna spend it. And it's like, so maybe if you spent a little bit less and made the dollar stretch a little bit more, he could be home more often.
Exactly.
You might as well just go because you're doing a little shit.
But yeah, it's like with some of the other neighbors that we have, though, how he's always gone. And he chose it, but we have to work for our family and this and that. You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
just, I really don't know how people do it. I don't know how she's doing it. I feel like I'm having a mental breakdown every other fucking day, you know, and at the very least, I'm not hearing, Mom, 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 Mommy, Mama, Mom, play with your fucking toys and shut the fuck up, Mommy's crying. No, I wouldn't actually treat a child like that, okay? But you get my point.
And I know that he gives me, it's not him, it's not my husband, like, he gives me breaks and stuff, but I just, like, you can't ever just take a day off of parenting. Like, you can't just go like, I need a sick day, I'm gonna take a mental health day, I'm gonna take a day to recharge so that I could be a better mom tomorrow or for the next fucking month.
And look, being child free and making that very conscious decision on not having kids for that very reason, knowing that I would be giving up so much of my life, because being a parent, being a good parent rather, is such a fucking selfless act. To birth the kid, to raise the kid, to set that kid up for success for the rest of their fucking lives. But I know for a fact I just don't have it in me. I don't want that kind of responsibility. Yes, does that sound selfish? Could that be?
Okay,
I don't know if I can be heard over here because I'm on the farm right now.
I think you can.
But I said, when it doesn't last forever, and there will be a time when you will get a day, and if it really matters to you, you will find a day and a time now.
Exactly.
It
Yes.
doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get a whole fucking day to yourself, but you can take 15, 20, 30 minutes, an hour to do something for yourself. You can
Yes.
find that time during the day. I don't care if you have 3 children under the age of 5. You can still find that time. I
Exactly.
guarantee it. Because,
Yes.
like, there's time to take a shower, there's time to read a book, there's time to take a nap, because kids under the age of 5 regularly take naps, or at least they should,
Yep.
and you nap with them. You know, you will, if it matters to you, find the time to do that.
Oh yeah.
And if you don't, you need to be trained to look for those opportunities.
Yeah, I mean that's with everything. No matter what, if it's important to you, you will find time.
I was solo parenting for a couple of years without any fucking help at all, not even from my mother. Her son was under the age of 5.
Yep.
I still found time to sit down and either read a book or color or draw or whatever, or take a nap. I still found the time to do it.
Yes.
And I was completely alone.
I know.
So, and I had animals, and I had them.
Yes, exactly.
still got it
There's
done.
always time.
But time management is fucked in this country, and
Yeah, a lot of people do not have good time management.
a lot of them think that you have to be busy in order to be productive.
And that's not true.
No.
Taking a nap is productive.
Yep. Meditating is productive.
Yes.
You know, like, I mean, I guarantee she has time right now. She's making a TikTok right now.
I know, exactly. She didn't have to make that.
No. I guarantee that they're scrolling through their phones or playing Candy Crush or whatever the fuck it is that they fucking do. But they don't factor that into the time that they have, you know,
Exactly.
that they could be using for self-care.
Yes.
Perceived as a very selfish thing. Maybe what I think is more selfish is bringing a child into the world for selfish reasons, like just having a kid for the fuck of it, because that's what we're supposed to do.
Or 2 months or 3 months. You can't do that. And it's like, yes, I could ask my mom for help, or, you know, like, I'm lucky enough to do that. But realistically, as parents, like, until you're doing it, you don't realize how fucking hard it is. And I'm just taking, 2 minutes and 30 seconds and counting to myself, and I feel so much guilt because I know that I left my baby in her crib to sit there and just like chill for a second because I'm overwhelmed. And I need a minute, and I needed to vent and get it off my chest.
How do you think you got here in the first place? You didn't allow yourself to really have those emotions. And I understand it's harder for parents to do because you don't want to be putting that onto your kids, but that's kind of how you also teach them empathy. This is exactly what I mean when I say your time to yourself is so fucking important. Hobbies are so fucking important to have because the reality of it is you are going to get to an age where the children are all grown up, they have left the nest, they have their own lives to deal with, and here you are. Your entire identity just came down to being a parent, to being a mum. You don't really have anything that you've built over the years. And sure, you can develop interests and hobbies at any age, at any point in life, really. But I feel like it becomes a lot harder when people are just so set in their ways. They truly believe that their one purpose in this life was to become a parent. Look, I've spoken to so many parents where they have had kids and they're all grown up and they've left the house, but one thing remains apparent: their inability to see themselves outside of being a parent, because that is what their identity has become over the past, 20 so odd years. And I find that to be a very critical problem, because what this does, and it becomes a massive burden on children when this happens, parents rely so much on their children to give them never-ending happiness. I mean, that's one of the main reasons why they brought them into the world to begin with, is because they thought this child was going to be their only source of happiness, because they couldn't really be bothered finding that in any other area. So that means you have to be there for your parent at the drop of a hat. You have to be their therapist. You have to be their husband or wife. You have to be everything for them. And that's fucking exhausting, because then you can't really live your own life and you can't do things that you want to do, because you always have to be at the beck and call for somebody whose only source of happiness comes from you. And I'm sorry, that's a really terrible thing to put onto a child. There is so much more to life than just raising kids. A lot of people hear that and they think, so the only reason you're not having kids is because they'd be hard and your life would be hard. Yeah, don't know why anyone would want to sign up for that. Sure, there are people out there who genuinely want children. I'm not really debating that. But I just look at stuff like this and I'm just like, why would you even want to have kids? Genuinely.
Before having children, I seriously urge you guys to please consider the fact that you will never know happiness again. That's all there is to it. You won't. Every day fucking sucks. Every single day. Every single day. I would say 8 out of 10 days are bad days. If you are someone that values your house being clean or having a clean space, don't have children. If you are someone who values your sleep, don't.
Okay, why? Because you have to clean your house like 6-7 times a day, maybe, because the kid makes it a mess. I mean, that is what it is. You just pick up as you go. He'll come back through and mess it up, but you pick it up again. It's not that big a deal. These people are so selfish.
It's not like it's trash usually.
No.
I mean, it's toys.
Yeah.
And I don't know, for one thing, I don't know, like, I mean, I see the toys, like, accumulate. Like, you can gather a fair amount pretty quickly. But
Yeah.
you don't have to get the big bunch of shit, and you don't have to let them have access to everything all at once either.
No, you don't.
So it's like, just give them a bag of stuff to play with.
Then they can play with that, then pick that up, and they can get the next bag. You know, Amos, he just has certain things, and then it's like, okay, you don't want to play with that, now put that away, we'll get you something else. That's it.
Have children. If you are someone who has issues with regulating your emotions, don't have children. If you are someone with not a lot of patience, don't have children. If you want any peace in your life, don't have children. Like, I'm so serious, guys. Please, like,
I am so glad that we are finally starting to realize that this carbon copy cutout lifestyle that has been forced down our throats for decades is a lifestyle that is not for everybody. You truly have to be a selfless individual.
Okay, I'm sorry. These people that are trying to say, oh my god, I miss who I used to be. You know, I'm not the same since I had the kid. They're the ones that, if you're female, you opened your legs. If you're the male, you put it in somebody. You're the one that did it. You know the consequences of what happens when you do this thing. It doesn't always happen, but it will happen. So, suck it up.
You play certain games and sometimes you get certain prizes, right?
Exactly. Who said that? Who?
Charlie Kirk.
Yeah, that was Charlie Kirk's quote. It was, you play certain games and sometimes you get certain prizes. It's reality, ladies and gentlemen. If you don't want this to happen, if you want to keep your life, then don't do it.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's like there's certain caveats, you know, sexual assault, shit like that.
Yeah.
But, no, that, I mean, 99% of the time that's not the case.
No, and it's like we were watching another Charlie Kirk today, and it's like he gets so passionate about some of it, and it's like kids are not a burden. They never have been. People that want to act like they are, there's living in self-pity land, and that's all they want to do.
I can't stand this trend of crying into the camera. Again, you had time to make that TikTok, and I guarantee it's not the only one.
Oh yeah.
You know, I'm sure there's a shit ton of them on there, and I'm sure there's all kinds of different ones on there. It's like you had time to do that. And some people say, well, that's kind of like the same thing as journaling, you know, and it's like, it is, but it isn't.
Yeah.
Because it's like they're doing it for an audience, and journaling is just for yourself, and that's like, you know, so you have self-reflection. You're not really hearing what's coming out of your mouth or how it sounds when you're doing that shit. But they post it for reactions and engagement and stuff. But it's like that trend is stupid because it's like you're not, like I said, you're not showing a well-rounded.
Don't do it, emotes.
No.
Don't pull hair.
A well-rounded like faction.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, sometimes it's like this, sometimes it's really exhausting, and sometimes they pull on your fucking hair and get into everything and make a bunch of noise.
Right.
But then there's other times that
they're the most loving thing that you're gonna have around.
Yeah, they're sweet and they're caring, and you get to see them learn and change, and
yeah,
you know,
and become what you were hoping that they would become.
And even if they don't, it's just work. It's just
yeah,
you know,
that's life.
Watching them turn into a person.
Don't ever force them into something that they're not.
One who is devoted to raising a child no matter the circumstances. Because tell me why people treat this decision of having children like it's a matter of, do I want Coke or do I want Pepsi today? Shout out to Pepsi. We only like Pepsi around here. I value my sleep, and I already have to put up with my two little ass critters who want to run around and make a ruckus at 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, what are we doing up at the witching hour? You little fuckers. I value my hobbies. I value doing spontaneous things. I value my ability to do whatever the fuck I want because I don't have the responsibility of taking care of a whole ass human being. And for some reason, that's always seen as selfish. How is it selfish to know what I want in life and to make the decisions that, well, fit my life? And I know for damn sure, all of those things that I value, kids would just destroy. I do want to acknowledge that this mum may be struggling with postpartum depression or another kind of mental health issue. But unlike the TikTok comments, I am not a licensed professional to comment on this woman's mental health. But it's responses like, my child is my happiness. I don't understand this generation. Are we talking about the same generation that is really open with our emotions, unlike prior generations that bottle it all up and make it their kids' problems? Right. I love how this person proceeds to make a comment on how good their situation is, as if any other situation cannot exist in the same plane of existence. I know that this video is going to attract a lot of people telling me just how wrong I am. And I know nothing about being a parent, so why the fuck am I talking? You definitely would not be the first, nor will you be the last person to tell me that kind of shit. But this inability to understand what someone else might be going through is genuinely fucking exhausting and honestly pretty uneducated. I do think her saying you will never know happiness again is a bit stark, considering this is something that is going to be on the internet forever. This woman has had thousands of hate comments and she still left the TikTok up, so I can at least respect that. No child deserves to bear the load of their parents' regret. I may be the child my mum regrets having, but no one knows how many nights I stayed up trying to be a better child. This really isn't fucking okay, because the negative impact of knowing that you were regretted, your entire existence just chucked out the window. You know, it would have been so much better for your parents to not have had you at all, because then they'd actually be able to live out everything they wanted to do in life, as if they couldn't fucking think that far ahead. No child should ever have to wonder if their parent loves them, let alone try and be a better child to better suit the parent's needs. Because what it sounds like to me is the parent needs to fucking do some changing. Why have we normalized making every fucking life's problem the child's fault? I hate remembering things I don't want to. Like, no, I don't want to reminisce on the time my mother told 5th grader me she regretted having me and I was a disappointment. No amount of explaining away could ever excuse telling a child this. I don't care how angry you were, really. I don't even care what the kid did. You don't ever tell a child that you regret having them. That is something that you keep to yourself and you take to the fucking grave, because that kid had no decision. She had no say in being born. So it's really unfair to say, well, I regret having you. Did you consult her before having her? No, because that's not possible. That is exactly why you need to think about these life-changing decisions a lot more than just a couple of months. The amount of kids over on TikTok who know for a fact that their existence, their entire being is regretted because their parents felt like they could do better in life without them is so sad to me. Kids don't deserve that, man. They really don't. There are better ways of conveying negative emotions. You know, even if you do feel regret for a child, they should never know that. They should never, ever, ever carry the weight of having known that if they weren't born, their parent would be better off. I don't think that's right. Not at all. If you have ever told a child that you regret having them, I fucking hate you. I really don't like you. So I'm going to leave it here for today, guys, because this was quite the long video and we didn't even get to touch on everything that I wanted to talk about. So with all of that being said, everybody, if you have anything that you would like to share with me down the comment section below, feel free. Or if you don't feel comfortable enough posting that kind of stuff publicly, email me at dramaqueensubmissions@gmail.com. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I fully agree with her on that. It is never okay to tell a kid that you regretted having them. I don't care how true it is. I don't care what the moment says. It's never okay. Kids do not need to hear that. Kids are too impressionable to be hearing that.
Like, they would say that about, like, saying that they were a mistake or whatever, too, and it's like, it depends. I believe in honesty, not to the point of saying that you regret them, because I just think that that's just shit all the way around, but, like, I have been honest with Tristan saying that he's not so much a mistake, it was really super unexpected, and that I did not want him. I didn't. You know, that I didn't want anything to do with him. I cried when I found out he was going to be a boy and all this stuff. I told him that. But I've also told him that he's changed everything about my point of view. Too.
Yeah.
That, like, the moment that he was born from that point on, the shit that I've learned from him and the person he's going to be is to become my best friend, you know? It's like,
Yes.
so it's like, if you can be honest, as long as that honesty has, like, a good, like, outcome.
Yeah, it does, exactly. If it's a learning point that you're like, listen, you know, that's changed me.
Yeah.
You've come along and you've changed
and
me.
I was
and that's,
wrong. Like,
yeah.
just straight up, I was absolutely wrong. I was completely misguided. I was 1,000% wrong. And, you know, that's also part of it.
Yeah.
You know? And it's like, so, I mean, and I think that there's some good that can come out of that because it's like, it shows that, yeah, you make mistakes, you have a wrong point of view, and the right people can change
Exactly.
that, you know? So, yeah, I believe in honesty to a certain point as long as there's a good outcome to that honesty. If nothing good can come from it, then I guess just keep it to your damn self, but everybody's going to know anyway.
Yeah, they are.
You know? Like I said, my mother never said that she regretted me ever. And I didn't feel that she did up until, like, I started straying away from the person that she wanted me to be.
Yes.
And then I felt it, but she never said it. You know, but she didn't have to say it.
No, she didn't.
So,
It was there. It was in the air. You knew it.
Yeah. And as far as, like, your situation goes, you're just it's kind of neutral. It's kind of like,
Yes.
they don't really say if they wanted you or if they didn't. You were just kind of there. It's kind of something to be taken care of, kind of, sort of, maybe, but never really.
I know.
Like, I don't know. You know, it's just,
I was left to my own devices
Yeah.
2/3 of the time.
Yeah, like super hands off and shit. And just,
I
don't
learned,
know.
you know, I had my brother who watched over me, if you want to call it that, but that was pretty much it. You know, my parents would be
There was
home
no
when they
love.
were
Like,
home.
there's like no real love there. They didn't teach you things.
Yeah.
You know, it's like.
You know, I taught myself how to cook. My brother didn't even know how to cook. I'm the one that was doing the cooking. I've always loved cooking. So let's
But, like,
see.
for your dad being somebody who, like, cooks, like,
I know.
gourmet meals and has all these recipes and stuff, like, he sure shit didn't sit down and teach you any of that.
No.
You know, like, I don't know. Like I said, it was just kind of like the same thing. It was like, oh shit, you were unexpected. We didn't mean to have you. We'll do the basics. We'll take care of you. We'll buy you some shit. But it's like,
Yep.
no real familial attachment.
No.
You know, because you're not connected with anybody else in the family. Nobody seems to give a shit.
No.
I mean,
It's so sad. It's like, I know I've got a bunch of cousins out there.
yeah,
I've
you
got
have
this,
a big family.
but I don't talk to any of them.
And I mean, this is
You know, we're friends with a couple of them,
But I stopped
and we
even-
see stuff, but they never say anything.
I used to like their stuff. I used to comment and stuff.
Yeah.
They wouldn't respond to my comments, and she didn't like ever like or say anything on our stuff. So it's like, why bother?
Yeah,
You know?
exactly.
Like, I mean, this is the day and age of information and communication, and they can't even like be bothered.
I know. Yeah.
And like, even still, your dad, like, he moved away.
I
He
know.
had another child, and he moved away, and like, grandparents don't want to be grandparents anymore.
No.
That's what we're going to talk about on the next thing. It's like,
Yeah.
they want the title
But not
and the
anything else.
convenience.
Yeah.
That's it. But it's like, they're not grandparents, even in the way that my grandparents were.
I know. He's talking away right now.
And it's like, I will not be that way. I will restore what the family is supposed to be like.
Exactly.
You know? I just, they're just so hands off with stuff.
I know.
And I don't know. I mean, that seems regretful to me also. I don't know. But,
Very
like,
much
I mean,
so.
they just went to London.
I know.
They didn't say anything about
Nope.
that beforehand or anything. It's just like, it's like everybody's just living their own lives. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Barely found out what happened to my mother.
I know, that was days later. You know?
Happened on Saturday.
Yeah. They didn't find out about it until Monday.
Yeah.
And not because she said anything, but because she did a public post.
Yeah, we found out and we were looking like, wait, what?
Yeah, and I was like, I looked at it in the
She
morning.
was in the ICU.
I looked at it in the morning. She had brain bleed.
Yeah.
And I looked at it in the morning and I'm like, it's too early for this shit. I put it down. I had some of Tristan's coffee. I'm like, I'll deal with this in a little bit. I'm like, I swear
Yeah.
to God. I'm like, I don't even know what to say here. But like she,
I hope that she's okay and that she stays good, no matter what.
she said herself, she's like, oh, when she got back in touch with us, and I'm ready to be a grandparent and everything. Well, she's still really not.
There hasn't been anything
Yeah.
major done.
Like, I got all over. I facilitated the help that we needed in February. I had to swallow my pride and be like, okay, I know you know people. Can you know anybody can get this shit done?
Yes.
That was it.
Yep.
Nothing happened for Christmas.
Nope.
Nothing happened for Melissa's birthday. She always says she wants to do something, but that's like enough, right? Just the idea that she wants to do it is enough. Just like the baby shower.
I was gonna say, just like the baby shower. She said, I want to do it, don't do anything, I'm gonna do it, and then nothing came of it.
So I guess just the idea that I offered and what, then
Yeah.
I guess that's enough. She did send money for Tristan's birthday, but
Yeah, she did.
He had to kind of remind her. But no cards.
Nope.
I don't know. Like that's not being a grandparent. A grandparent is like, oh, let me come up and watch the kids for a day so you guys can go do what you need to do, or whatever. There's no way in hell. There's no way in hell I would trust her.
I know.
To do that shit.
I know.
It
would take a lot.
Like, there's just no way.
Yeah.
Just health wise and mental health wise, I just.
What just happened?
Yeah, I couldn't do it. Like, just no way.
I know.
Like,
especially this area.
Right. Even in her area.
Yeah.
Like, he's so fast.
I know.
And so strong.
He gets away from me sometimes.
Yeah, and he gets into shit like.
Mm-hmm.
There's just no way. Like,
yeah.
I mean, it's kind of the same reason that I stopped sending Tristan to watch even when I went to pick you up from school and stuff, because he was moving around too much and she just didn't see it. It was just.
I know. Yeah.
Like, did you change him? Did you feed? No. It's all right. It's just you're not doing anything.
Yeah.
With it, so, but take your pictures and post them on Facebook again. So.
Exactly.
And a lot of these estranged parents that I see, the children of these estranged parents, they say the same thing.
I know they do. It's like I don't know why.
Yeah, but the children are always like, they just want to take pictures and post it on Facebook, but not be involved any other time.
Yeah.
What is it with that?
It's I don't know. It's that generation of just doing that. That's it. It's like, oh, I'm a grandparent. I shove them full of chocolate and send them on their way, and that's it.
Buy them some shit, maybe.
Yeah.
Depending on the person.
Yeah.
Don't teach them anything anymore.
No.
They don't go on vacations anymore. Like I don't know. Like,
yeah. I mean, even my dad. He's had Tristan come up a couple of times, but nothing really.
No, and again, they have extended family that's right there, and your dad brings up, oh, well, maybe we can get together, and then Justin's excited about that.
And then nothing.
No. Oh, they're busy. It's like, well, shit, can we call them today? No, I don't want to bother them.
Yeah.
Don't say that.
No, it's wrong.
Yeah, like, what are you doing?
He's got croutons. All right, we got to see where we are on this next one. We're already like 15 minutes to the good.
Alright, and then you're actually gonna have to read efficiently because I want to get this one done, and I really want to get to the last one here.
I don't even know where we are because again, it didn't say. Do you?
No, but let me just get to the one I'm talking about.
Yeah, and then we'll go back to this one.
Which one?
The
I
last
haven't
one.
seen that one.
That's the one that you wanted to see, right?
No, the last.
Oh, okay.
Don't forget, you're right next to her.
No.
start with this, I guess. Okay. So nothing is made more enjoyable by having kids. As the title states, this is an absolute nightmare of an existence. We have a 2.5-year-old and a 4-month-old. Okay, so you're in the worst of it. That's
Yeah.
like the worst of the time to be, like I said, up until about the age of 3, it's pretty brutal.
Yeah.
Going out to eat, going out to run errands, going to the bathroom, going to bed, waking up, leaving the house in general, sex life. Can't put that on hold for a couple of years. Actually sleeping, being sick, eating, traveling, finances. No daily activity is more enjoyable with having kids. My wife always wanted kids since she can remember. She's changed so much since having them. She's mean, irritable, stressed. Her anxiety is through the roof, and it isn't anything on my end because she always says I'm the best dad and help out so much, more than she ever thought that I would. She still posts that having kids isn't that hard. Well, it's because she too, if she has a 4-month-old, it takes about 2 years for everything to be valid. So anxiety and shit is going to be through the fucking roof. It doesn't last forever.
No, it doesn't at all.
And if she's saying it's not that hard, then it's, she's got a good idea. All right, the 4-month-old is a literally, you're still on, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Come on.
The 4-month-old is literally taking time bomb as to when he'll explode into a screaming episode that could last 10 minutes or 2 hours. He's had health issues that we had addressed at Children's Hospital. It's exhausting. Then couple that with a 2-year-old who's a little tornado that is going 110% from the time she wakes up until the time she goes to bed. Mind you, she wakes up when we wake up and goes to bed when we go to bed, so there's literally almost no break from her antics. Minus her 2-hour nap during the day. That's actually pretty fucking good.
Yeah, that's a big gap that you have then to do what you want.
You're pretty lucky if you get 2 hours. It's like some days they only get 30 minutes.
If that.
Our marriage is on the brink, and we're both too exhausted to put any real effort into addressing the issues. Don't get me wrong, there are moments that are sweet, but it's like getting a sip of water while you're dying of dehydration in the middle of the desert. Oh, that's enough.
That's enough, yeah, it'll keep you going.
I hate that I feel like this, but I don't see how anyone can genuinely enjoy this experience. I do. I mean, and it can be pure hell sometimes, and I fucking enjoy every minute of it.
Oh, I love it. I absolutely love it.
Scroll. Your kids are literally in the worst stages age-wise for kids. Get through the next 3-ish years and hopefully it gets better. In the interim, don't have any more. It says that that's the lie they tell you. It's 100% worse because there's no escape. You can't leave. You can't give them back. You just gotta face shit head on. That's the problem.
Yeah,
People
you do.
don't want to do that. This one said, "I love it. The highs, the lows, the challenges, all of it."
Yeah, they show you things that you never thought about from yourself. That's just it. They show you where you need more patience,
Exactly.
what you need to do to better yourself.
Exactly. I have kids, and I find it sad that others aren't enjoying parenthood. That's not to say it's not like what you're describing. It's the difference of whether you find joy and fulfillment alongside it, which I personally do. It's very nuanced, which is why it's so important to have these candid conversations. I'm just kind of trying to find the best answer.
You guys can see them on there still, so
Yeah,
if you want to pause it, pause it where you are and read them.
Alright, I raised 4 kids, primarily alone. It was by far the hardest job I ever had. It's not really a job, it's a duty.
It is, yes.
It's exhaustingly expensive, scary for a million reasons, thankless and self-sacrificing, and how they turn out as adults is not guaranteed. I consider myself very fortunate that in spite of everything, including the mistakes I made, they have turned out to be decent human beings. Nothing about parenting is joyful, easy, or fulfilling. I disagree. But you can't change your mind once it has met whatever your expectations were. The goal is to raise them to be decent human beings. People have forgotten that. They are an extension of you in your mind only. If you are raising a child, you might want to remember that someday they will likely be caretakers, and how you parented them will show. I still find it to be enjoyable, though.
Oh, yeah.
I don't get
It's always enjoyable for me. I mean, yeah, it's tiring, but it's always enjoyable. I mean, you guys can see me most of the time while we're doing this, still interacting with him. And then I normally would be talking with Guru still if he was inside, but, he's doing his thing right now. Is that good? Is that good? He's down in croutons right now. That's why you guys hear the bag, sorry.
Because there's 2 sides to this, okay. Because somebody at the was talking about, it's like, oh, she still posts that, it isn't that hard. Well, they're like, of course she does. That's what they always do. They try to, have people join them in misery. It's not about that.
No, it's not.
Because it is a rounded experience.
Yeah.
And it said, this is so true. My former colleague had 2 kids, a golden child, a girl, and a demon, a boy. She came to work every morning crying because he made her life miserable. She even said I should have had that abortion. But then she posted on social media, my sweet baby boy, you're the best thing that ever happened to me. She knew I didn't want children. She also knew I was happily married. She wasn't thrilled about that. She tried to persuade me into having kids. But of course you should have kids. They're the meaning of life. Yep, misery loves company. So it can't just be 2 things at the same time. It can't be horrible and exhausting and also wonderful and joyful at the same time.
Well, most of that just have kids or haven't had kids long, they don't understand it. And of course it can.
Yeah, I mean, it's
you
literally
have
2
these,
sides of the same coin.
It is. Oh my god.
What happened? Really? And it's like we're lucky that we have things like vacuum cleaners and shit.
I know.
People take a lot for granted these days.
They do. Come on. Stand up.
No one really does enjoy it. We endure it. It will get better once your toddler is older and in school. Toddlers are awful, strong and fast enough to get into everything. It's too dumb to take your eyes off them for a moment.
Sometimes. Not dumb. They know what they want and what they're going for.
I enjoyed it. I miss toddlers, but I'm also lucky enough to be able to work from home, so we didn't have to go against it much. Going against the toddler is not for the faint of heart. Never had to force them to do much. If I had to take them somewhere daily, I'd freaking imagine the hell that would have been. Yeah, that's true too. It's like I don't get people to drag them places.
No. I mean, luckily Amos hasn't gone very much, but Guru did. He went a lot. His first, while. Amos here, he only went towards after a year. We had to do this whole trip and stuff.
There's some to look into the next article.
Yeah. Where are you? Look at. Hi. Say hi. Hey.
I think it was.
There you go.
Alright.
I know you see the mic.
Here's a new one.
Okay.
It's not fair. I've been completely miserable for years. It doesn't get better. I don't feel maternal. I don't feel loved. I developed a plethora of health issues, to which some are irreversible. I envy childless people with every fiber that I have. Having a child ruined my life. I'm so stupid. I was used as an incubator. I hate pro-lifers.
Are you kidding me? Again, I say this exact thing. You knew what you were doing when you opened your legs and had this kid.
Yep.
Baby. I am sorry you did. Get over yourself. You're not the exception to the rule.
This one said, I am truly blessed, can't be thankful enough that I was given common sense, intelligence, foresight, a brain that works properly, a degree in rocket science, all the stuff you need to not have kids. Just kidding about the last one. You hardly need that to be a genius to know what will happen.
No kidding, man. You know, and as you said, not everybody is ready for kids or can handle it. And if they're the smart
I don't
ones,
think anybody's ready, but I'm just saying they're not called.
yeah, well, that's what I mean. Not called for it. And if they're the smart ones that can go without, doing the deed that causes it and doing it, then by all means, I mean, that's great. Or if they're just one of the ones that do the deed but just never happens. I'm getting tired. See? You're right there. You're right there. Yo.
Okay. Summer camp woes. Trying to find a summer camp so I'm not stuck with these kids all summer while they're out of school. I found one that's $1,000 for 2 kids. I can't afford that, so I kept looking, and I found another one that's $2,000 for 2 kids. Like, what the actual fuck? I had no idea summer camp prices were this insane. I got so lucky last year, and they won memberships to the one that's 1K, so they got in for free. Best summer ever. I dropped them off first thing in the morning and picked them up at 5:30 p.m. They fed them breakfast and lunch, so I didn't have to cook anything except dinner. My anxiety grows every day as we get closer to summer break. I fucking hate summer. Getting no break from them for 2.5 months is torture. That is all.
Wow. Easy, baby.
People are mostly saying that $1,000 is really fucking cheap. $2,000 is really cheap.
Yeah,
Especially
I
when
mean,
you're not having to do breakfast and lunch,
Oh, I know. And I got lucky that I got to go with Guru on one of his 8th grade. Yeah, Sancho did a whole thing. I can't even see the top of it. But going on the trips with Guru to San Francisco, and we did Alcatraz and all that fun stuff. But that was still a pain in the butt because he had been working his whole time to have it paid for.
Right.
And
you should have had like $600.
And they had none of it. They're like, oh, well, we don't know.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah.
They lost those records, which was freaking crazy. They had them earlier in the year, but
Yeah.
They were supposed to be thankful for the $1,000 that they contributed overall
to everybody.
When he had like $600
himself. Yeah. But I'm still lucky that I got to go with and enjoy the whole process. Him and I got our own room and everything.
He said, I'm going to be honest, my city is full of people that should have not had kids or made dumb decisions. My family members, too. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's like, and so if you do have them, then you have to set stuff aside and be the parent that's supposed to be,
I know.
It said, okay, it's wild to me that parents try to give 101 reasons as to why child-free people absolutely must have kids and can't wait to be rid of them for the summer. Whack. Imagine having children and not wanting them to be around. Is summer camp just an American thing, or does this happen elsewhere in the world? Our schools are very different here. It is pretty much an American thing.
Yeah, it is.
I'll like maybe post this so people can read some of it.
And it's really funny because like the whole Camp Keep thing that most people go to, and then it's like our family in
I
general
know, we
did
never
not go to
get
it.
to do it. It's stupid. Let's see. Alright. Continuing my legacy in DNA is a reason for having children. Every time I ask someone why they want kids, I hear some version of this. It's my legacy, something that carries my name. I don't want my genes to go to waste. It's a part of me that lives on forever. I've never fully understood that mindset. Wanting children to love and raise is one thing, but wanting them as an extension of yourself, something to carry you forward, that always felt a little unsettling to me. Curious how others see it, what is really behind that desire. I mean, legacy is not the right word. Lineage is
Yes.
the word. Legacy
yes.
is something that you do to be remembered yourself.
Exactly. It
Like,
is.
you know,
Yeah.
like nobody really knows much about Tesla's children or his
No.
parents. It's him, you know. So
Yeah.
it's like that's a kind of that's a legacy. Lineage, though, and that is always something that's very deeply ingrained with me. Like
I imagine.
DNA, like lineage,
Yeah.
bloodlines. It's strong. And a lot of these people don't understand, like, oh, you don't have anything to like pass on anyway, you know. It's like you do.
Oh yeah.
Because people have been doing this for thousands of years, and just because you decide to opt out
I know.
and make a big deal of it, you know, that you're wrong. You know, so
Yes.
let's see here. I see if I find. There was a guy that had some pretty based comments here. So the irony is that their genes will disappear by the time the grandkids start showing up. That's not true. And so they said they probably can't name their great grandparents and tell you about their lives. I can. And this person said,
But a lot can't.
it said in most cultures we can, maybe USA problem.
I would imagine it is. It is a USA problem.
I have a whole freaking book. She also said, where would they disappear? Grandkids are often more similar to grandparents than their parents. Genes skip a generation. And even if genes will be hidden, they will appear again and again in future generations. Is it right? DNA doesn't disappear. What the hell are they talking about? We traced our ancestry back to the Mayflower. How else would that be possible?
Yeah. But I don't know why it is a USA problem.
To not know about your family?
Yeah, but
you don't. Like, I
well,
don't.
that's what I mean.
It's like,
That's what it is. It's like the kid. It's just not told about. It's not as much discussed, even though my dad has done the research
I know.
and everything, but it's not talked about. It's not
know.
like how most natives pass down their information from person to person about, no,
Right.
this person
Right.
did this. No, it just wasn't.
They said it's instinctual. If you don't like it, that's okay. But some of us realize how many thousands and thousands of people who lived just so we could be here today. If you have the capacity and financial stability to have a child and continue on, why wouldn't you? Really amusing that only women seem to have a problem with this. Seed and coke, ladies. It's true. I don't really see men saying it.
No.
And I knew it had to be a guy. Narcissist. He said, oh no, honey, I know a few of those, and I'm definitely not one of them. This person, maybe it's because mainly only women left behind to raise men's legacy alone as they follow their erections to the next woman without a thought or how it impacts their legacy must be men's instincts, right?
There we go.
Then you choose better. You choose
Yes.
them as somebody who's on the same line, or you just deal with it and understand that the offspring is what mattered the whole time.
Absolutely.
Oh God. Because it's our body and we can potentially die giving birth.
Our body, our choice.
It's our body that changes drastically. It's our body that takes the beating. It's our life that's put on pause. Haven't you noticed that most women stay with their post-baby weight? You think they want to, but of course, a loser man will never understand the sacrifice it takes to create life. You only create the life. You guys create the life.
Yes.
We bring it into the world. couple of guys that posted some pictures. Take a good look at the risks of childbirth and then get back to us. Saving oneself from pain, and not to mention years of lack of freedom and financial sacrifice, is also instinctual. Zero empathy, male, this one. I don't owe my ancestors a descendant simply because they paved the way for an existence I never asked for. See, this
Oh my god.
me. This gets me. This common one. Why would you? The Earth is struggling with climate change. We have leaders waging wars on a regular basis. What reason could you possibly have for bringing another child into this? It's been way worse.
Yeah, that's the main thing that we hear now is this. Why would you want to bring a child into this world? Why? Because now's the perfect time.
40 years ago, my mother was walking down Bodfish Canyon Road with me in a stroller, just being born. The lady that she used to work with is walking in the direction she comes, and she looks and she just is a noise, and it's like, oh God, you're so brave, because I just can't imagine bringing a child into the world the way that it is now. 40 years ago.
Yes.
They're always gonna say this.
Yeah,
shit.
they always are.
Fucking still here.
Yep. And we.
Careful.
Sorry.
Still finding a way.
Yeah, we will still be here.
And making and still finding joy in life. I mean,
yeah.
Come on, give me a break.
Exactly.
This always bothers me too. Okay. There's a new series on Netflix, The Dinosaurs. When you watch it and think about the continuation of your genes, it's truly laughable or insignificant. So just live your life and enjoy every moment while you still can.
Oh my God.
I'm so sick and tired of that mindset.
Yes.
That we're insignificant, we're just little specks. And it's like, do you understand how complex and amazing it is that any of us even exist at all?
Exactly.
That anybody on this planet exists, that this planet exists the way that it does, how perfect it is. How can you say that? You know?
I know, exactly. You know, and it all falls under the whole people thinking that we're the only planet with life, you know.
And they always say this, it's like, well, if aliens are here, they think they were of us as ants, and it's like, that's not true.
No.
What legacy are ordinary folks talking about? Are they all very famous plumbers, fishermen, and secretaries? It's about the genetic makeup. It's about, like, you know.
Yes.
And like I said, they're confusing lineage with legacy.
Still.
Yeah. Our 3 adult kids do not want kids. Our bloodline ends with us, and we are thrilled.
Oh my God. How horrible.
I know.
You always want your legacy to continue. Your bloodline. Lineage, yeah. Yeah, your lineage to continue.
Our kids don't want to bring innocent lives into this world just in order for them to work to survive on a dying planet, and that's even if they're born healthy with no medical issues.
This is not a...
This negative mindset.
I know, and this isn't a dying planet.
It will shake itself off.
Yes.
And it might get a little rough, but, I mean, shit. You know, what if?
I mean, we live on a planet that's got a young sun.
Mm-hmm.
We got a lot of life left in this planet.
letting these run so people want to read them when they can.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, there's just something innate in me that I'm just obsessed with, like that the DNA, not just in myself, but like in the animals that I have and stuff. It's like
Yeah,
to have an animal that I've like known and loved, and to know that it could not have offspring or something in potential that bothers the shit out
Oh,
of me.
yeah.
That like
Well,
bothers
of course.
me. Like not having any more Mirage's babies and stuff. That
I know.
bothers the shit out of me. Now it's really weird though because after her and her initial babies, I never really felt the need to want to continue to try to breed into the line. I think because her babies were not at all like her.
No, they weren't.
I tried it 3 times.
She was a different breed.
One of a kind horse.
Yes.
Yeah. And so I guess I just never felt that. But like the dogs and stuff, yeah, it's really important to me.
And it kills me still.
Yeah. I can't even look at pictures.
I know.
And I didn't want this for myself for a long time, and I didn't
I know.
understand it until I was at least 30, and Tristan was already like older, you know.
I know.
And I was like, oh, that was stupid, you know.
You know, with me, you're like, no.
And then it's like pure panic because it's like, oh shit, I pigeonholed our freaking bloodline, you know.
I know.
Okay, so there's a person kind of going back and forth about like the biological imperative. And it says it's not a biological imperative for us. We choose to procreate. We have ways to prevent it while still getting to do the act that facilitates it. We're the only species on Earth, other than dolphins, that do said act recreationally for pleasure. The dolphins are going to accept the outcomes of that as well.
Yeah, they
if
are.
they happen to have offspring from said pleasurable experience, they're not going to abort it.
No, they're not going to go to a clinic and
they don't
be
take
like,
drugs. They don't take drugs to stop it either. So that's
No.
the difference. It's like, yeah, sure, they might do it for pleasure, but they're also going to accept the consequences of that.
well, what's pufferfish?
Well, that's just getting high. Puff pass, you know.
Yep.
Poor thing. I couldn't agree more. I've always found it very selfish and self-centered reason to have kids. Like, why do you think you were so special that you need to pass down your genes and have a legacy? I literally couldn't care less about passing down my genes or being remembered after I die. Humans have bred themselves silly to the point that hardly anyone has any genes worth passing on anymore, as most people carry some kind of hereditary illness,
Yeah.
mental illness, including myself.
I mean, that is a big problem.
I mean, kinda, yeah. I don't know. I'm superior.
You are.
So, I can't relate. Sorry.
But I mean, I'm not saying that all are, but there is a big issue with that.
But again, you don't understand like what pregnancy hormones can do to fix that shit too.
It's true, because the baby fixes
Yeah, I mean,
everything
I
within
had
the woman.
insomnia. I had
Yeah.
mental issues. I had anxiety, like I couldn't control, and
So they find the right one, and you could fix every single issue.
exactly. Like I said, it's a gamble, but
Yeah.
I think 9 times out of 10 it ends up fixing a lot more problems.
And I mean, they try to say the Down syndrome is a means for abortion, and it's like, no.
expand that one. Okay. So having kids has a direct negative impact on the environment. They will consume resources and increase pollution in a world that is already overpopulated by threefold the amount of people it can sustain. That's actually not true. The capitalistic economic system is impossible to sustain long term. It's only based on growth for the sake of growth. I had this into consideration before having my second child, but I still chose to have him. It's egotistical. I wanted to create a person to feel loved and needed, not wanting to understand is childish. I want to breed the breed apart. I want to breed the buffer between us and them. I want to breed people that are going to consume less and teach others to consume less and stand up.
Be the difference.
For what's right and then have their little patch of land and raise animals the way that you're supposed to.
Not want Starbucks every single.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't have to be. It's like oh, they're just gonna go and buy and consume and make pollution.
Nope.
It's like you don't have to be that way.
It doesn't.
And you think the elites are going to stop having children?
Hell no.
They're having. I mean, fucking Musk has 14 or some shit.
Yeah, he does.
And it's like, I mean, it's not the worst example, but they're gonna continue having their little fucking army.
Oh God, yeah.
What's gonna be on the other side? It's like you're just gonna let them take over everything.
Most people are. That's what they think. Oh well, but we just gotta let them.
And they're playing right into the game.
Yep.
And they think they're sticking it to somebody.
I know, that's the funniest part.
How are we doing on time?
We're already at an hour 20. Yeah.
This is the one I really wanted to cover.
Okay.
I've heard it a lot also, and I never know why, but it gives me an icky feeling inside. The ego to think your DNA needs to be carried on is crazy to me, very egotistical in my eyes. But I think it's a distinct perspective being scared to die. No, I have no fear of death.
Nope,
I do have a fear of leaving shit unfucking finished here and not having somebody be that buffer between us and them.
Yeah, for sure. There's a problem there.
It's usually followed by sentences outlining carrying on names and stories and legacies and ensuring life goes on. Whereas I'm happy to live and die, I don't need to be remembered or have stories told about me. I want to enjoy my own life and then fade away. You're not really. Sorry.
No, I am. What are people saying about it?
Oh, I'll let you know when there's a good one.
Okay.
This is still just comments about the original thread.
Okay.
There's some people who are saying the word is legacy. It's not legacy, it's lineage.
Like you've always said.
Yeah. We have both.
Yeah.
Who's gonna look after you when you're old? I don't get that one either.
No,
That's not the point. I hope I die before I'm a burden. This life is mine, and my legacy will be judged on how I helped other people in need and animals. That's the thing too. How many people do we know that work with animals or have rescues or whatever, and they're fucking 60, 70 years old,
yeah,
and they don't. Not only do they not have their own children to teach and take over, they don't even bring anybody else from the outside to teach and take over.
No, they don't.
So they fucking die, or they become to the point where they can't take care of the animals, and the animals suffer and get taken away, or you die and then they're suffering and eating each other.
We've seen it more and more.
That pisses me off.
We've seen it more and more.
That's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Me. Yeah, and it's like most of them, especially in the wolf dog community, are 60, 70 years old.
I know.
And they have no children.
No.
And no outside help. It's like, this is mine. This is what I do. This is my life. But you're leaving those animals to suffer once you're fucking dead.
Exactly.
Most of the dumb bitches have a bunch of cats.
I know. Crazy cat ladies.
And so they got an apartment full of cats that they're taking care of, and they're just gonna eat her and each other when she's gone because they
I
don't
know.
have anybody looking out for them. You know?
Exactly. We know a couple personally.
As an extension of my family, my grandparents and other ancestors that fought so hard for us to be at this point, joy and meaning these children bring to my parents and grandparents. Overthinking is part of a mental disorder. Don't indulge it. That was actually female.
Was it? So like,
Oh.
it's, like we said, we know a couple personally with those issues.
Here's the response. Oh, really? They fought for it. My and your grandmother, great grandmother, and so on did not have a choice. How do you know? My grandmother was not allowed to go to school. She had to get married and give birth to as many children as she could. She had 6 children, and so she would have chose differently if she lived today. And I'm happy that I live in a time and in a country where I can choose to do what I want.
Oh my God, people.
That my grandmother, great grandmother, and my other ancestors never had. We don't fucking know that too.
No, and it's like, if that's the real case, if their grandparents would have, then they're just as bad as them.
There was, I don't know, maybe they come from low rent families that are like,
Yeah.
of low intelligence and shit, because that sure shit has never been the case in any of my line. Because
No.
and there's so many others that you even read about biblically that have done something with their lives, whether they
I
had
know.
children or not.
I know.
They have never been oppressed. They made something of themselves. They worked outside the home. They raised armies. They freaking went to war sometimes. They
I
were
know.
advisors. They worked in libraries. They worked in, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Did they not choose that?
Oh, they did.
So it's like, what are you talking about? So
They're,
it's like,
they're just talking out of
so I
their...
guess they must come from like the lowest rent of the fucking families if they have like no intelligence and no drive, because that's the only way that would happen.
I know.
Because you believe me, in all of human history, if a woman does not want to have a baby, she's not going to have a baby.
Oh, I know.
She'll either find a way to abort it or she will kill herself.
It's true. It's true.
It's like, believe me, I mean, even in the Tudor era, when women were used frequently as political pawns and stuff,
Yes.
they really didn't want to do it. They found a way out of it. That's why Anne decided to go ahead and let herself have her head cut off, because it was just like, I'm not doing this shit no more.
Exactly. She knew.
Yeah, if she wanted out of it,
She'd find a way.
She'd find a way. Yep. All right. Because you're here, thanks to thousands of your ancestors who have survived wars, famines, plagues, epidemics, do you know how statistically small chance you had to exist, considering the majority of humanity did not live past childhood? You don't have to come from royal family to appreciate the circle of life, passing this beautiful gift of seeing the wonders of this world to the new generation. There are so many things worth seeing and experiencing. Wouldn't it be sad to know that it stops with you? Not for everyone, I know. Teaching them your values, passing on the kindness you received from your parents and grandparents, or the ones you didn't.
Yeah.
Yes, I understand some people didn't experience many positive things in their life, so they might not feel this way. Other families gave kids nothing but trauma, and some others simply have some health issues running in the family, and it's a question whether it's worth to pass on those genes. Yeah, I think if you have poor genetics, it's worth considering.
Yeah, there's a thing there. If you don't want to do it, that's with certain genetic disorders.
Right,
yeah,
I get
for
that,
sure.
for sure. But is spot on with everything else, and just because we didn't receive love and kindness from our parents doesn't mean that we don't want to pass that on and do better ourselves.
Exactly. No, that's the biggest thing you should want to do, is do better than the way you were raised.
Exactly. And of course, there's 6 replies to this photo. This is the main one that I was trying to get out. A gift that I didn't ask for can also be a burden. You asked for it, believe me. Oh, and this person going on about the grandparents not having a choice again. Said the same thing. I'm glad I live in a time in a country where I can choose to do what I want with my life, because my grandmother didn't have that choice. That's it.
That's
all
it.
I got. Yeah. It's cool. And then this lady, I haven't gone over her stuff, but I know that she's kind of woke, and we'll have to get to it some other time.
Yeah, there'll be a different one. We're not going back to this right now. We got other stuff to move on to.
So that's pretty much that.
That was a really good one still. If the person was an hour 15, this is an hour and a half, so tells you about how much material we had to go over.
Yeah, and I'll try and break up the other one a little bit. The estranged parents.
Yeah.
You know,
That's going to be another.
That one, yeah, both of those topics really get to me. It's just like,
oh, yeah. Yeah, this is so dumb.
I don't know. It's just like a general weakness
It is.
in humanity that's just never really been seen before.
No.
And it's like, I really don't care if they choose to have children or not, but it's like going onto the internet and complaining if you do have children or why you shouldn't have children. And just like, it's like stupid.
I know.
And it's not well rounded. And it's like, yeah, I mean, there's two sides to every situation, and it's gonna be difficult. But anything worth having is difficult.
Yes, exactly, and you're always gonna fight for it.
And I guess if you're that weak, then yeah, you shouldn't. You know.
Just you guys did a great review of this,
If you,
as always. Thank you.
It's like if you're that weak, then yeah, maybe you shouldn't like have
Yes.
children or whatever. But it's like just to be that way. I don't know.
It is, I mean, people need to understand and grow up.
But it's like have respect.
Life isn't about themselves.
No. And it's like, yeah, go do something to value, but just to say it's going to cramp your lifestyle and you're not going to be able to travel or
Yep.
that's just dumb.
It is.
And then the estranged parents thing, I don't know. Like that's another type of weakness as well. And then it's the fact that they say that it's a trend.
I know. That one is going to be interesting getting into.
But it's like we didn't even have internet when this came around.
No.
It's like our generation just isn't willing to put up with the bullshit of being disrespected.
Exactly.
It's like just because you're an elder doesn't mean that you get automatic respect. It's like
No.
be respectable and then you'll get respect.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
so we'll cover that one next time.
It'll be a fun one.
Yeah.
Thank you for
I
reading
can
all
see
that.
it. Look at he fell asleep.
He's been asleep for a while.
Do you see like that's what people are missing out. He's a little
Yep.
shape and then he turns into that.
And just goes to sleep.
This one's lurking. What are you doing?
I'm hungry.
All right.
I haven't even started the cake yet.
We'll see you maybe
Tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. We'll see.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Sancho, for joining us. As always, namaste. Have a great evening.
I don't know what day it is. Tuesday.
Tuesday. I think you need to end it. Where? Oh, I see.
Where it
There's a-
says end.